And I'm feeling alive. You give me all the strength that I need, and I wanna know if I can be by your side. I don't wanna be anywhere but by your side. I just wanna...
What's going on, everybody? It's Duran here from Sunrise Gaming, coming back at you with another podcast, as is our weekly podcast that comes out on Fridays. This week, a lot of stuff happening in Overwatch. A lot of big things, a lot of big changes. Great news, came through earlier in the week. And, of course, we have a lot of stuff to talk about in the pro scene. If this is your first time ever listening to one of our podcasts, just bear in mind this is a true podcast. There's nothing in the background. This is literally something to listen to. So if you have some chores or whatnot that need to get done, because most of us are neckbeards who dwell in basements, you need to maybe clean the basement up a little bit. If not, sit back, relax. We're going to talk to you about some Overwatch. Bear in mind, this tends to get a little ranty. We do go off on tangents quite a bit, so just keep that in mind. If you see us or listening to us and you hear some ranting, don't be alarmed. That's normal, especially for our regulars. Today I'm joined by Lax. Lax is usually here for the pro scene stuff, but was there something you wanted to start with first?
Let's jump. Yeah, let's just jump straight into dive comp. We could, dive in.
Oh, God,
a lot
it's
of
gonna be one
people.
of those
Shut up. Okay,
podcasts.
Anyways, so a lot of people are talking about, is dive comp overrated? Is this the only thing that you can play? I saw somebody who's big in the Overwatch community basically say it's the same as triple tank. If you're not taking triple tank during the triple tank ban, if you didn't take triple tank, you're pretty much going to lose. I have opinions on this, but I'll go to you first. Do you think dive comp is overrated? Do you think we're going to see a nerf? Do you think it's viable? Is it not going to be viable in the future? Like, what's going on?
So this is always like an interesting subject with the way metas shift. We know that Blizzard did not like the triple tank meta, and the reason behind that was because they don't want one type of class to overpower the other classes, so to speak, like 3 tanks instead of balancing out with 3 DPS.
Yeah.
To them, do I think dive comp is overrated? Absolutely not. I think it is just a smart way to play the game.
Yeah.
Dive comp is super offensive. There's no defense behind it. How should I put this? If you were to nerf dive comp, you would effectively kill the characters in dive comp.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to really kill it, you have to kill the characters in it. So, you have to nerf Tracer down, you have to nerf Genji down, you have to nerf Winston and D.Va way down. What I think, if they were going to change it so that... Here's how, in my perfect world of Overwatch...
Unfortunately, not the world we currently live in.
Not the world we currently live in. There would be, 2 main metas, so to speak. There's dive, and then another meta that we don't know about. That doesn't exist yet, but maybe one day does exist. Where both are extremely viable. One doesn't really counter the other. It just comes to a skill level at that point and making better plays. And I think Blizzard's going to go for that. I have a feeling, because everybody was like, oh, Doomfist is going to kill dive comp. He can one-shot characters and stuff like that. And I'm like, yes, but he is also super susceptible to damage. Winston and Roadhog and McCree can just beat the snot out of him. So, I think that what they will do is buff other characters up. So, non-dive comp characters like Zarya.
You're seeing that with Ryan. They've already they're going to buff Ryan. They're giving him
swing,
increased swing speed. Yeah, and I think that's great because there's nothing more frustrating when a Winston jumps behind you and I have to drop my shield and try to swing at him, and then he could just jump out before I can kill him. So I think that's a good buff along that lines.
So that's what I was thinking, and they're kind of leaning towards this way, and this is why I think Blizzard... Oh, God, this is going to sound so Blizzard fanboy, and I have so many problems with World of Warcraft.
Remember Overwatch Overtime.
I know. Oh, yeah, that's the name of our podcast. It's Overwatch Overtime. So, they need to buff non-dive characters. There's a lot of characters that can fit into dive, like Soldier can
Yeah.
take a DPS place. You can go one tank and bring in Sombra on defense,
Yeah.
which is phenomenal, by the way. And when we go into
Mhm.
pro scene, we're going to talk about France. Actually, no, it was Argentina. DDX. His
Yeah.
Sombra play was fantastic. We're going to
Yeah.
talk about that. Anyway, so a lot of characters fit into dive, and that's why I think it's really popular, is because more people can play what they want. But I do see in the future, as we go down the line, Blizzard will be buffing non-dive characters to sort of like bring them up to not par, but like right there where skill will help you a lot.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's my opinion. Go ahead with yours.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I always ask people what brought the triple tank meta, and people say Ana being insane. I agree. They nerfed Ana. They killed triple tank. Great. But what did the triple tank meta give us? It gave us another way to play Overwatch. It used to be, all right, we're going to protect one character as much as we can, let him do his thing, and then we'll have another DPS character that finishes everybody off, and then our tanks protect everybody and the healers heal everybody. It was very simplistic.
Mm-hmm.
What you have now with dive comp is you have this sort of tanks aren't just absorbing damage. If you're a Winston and you're just jumping in front of people, you're playing Winston wrong. Same thing with Diva. If you're just putting her defense matrix in the choke, you're playing her wrong. But that's what people would think. That's what Reinhardt does, and Reinhardt's like your classic tank, right? So what I think the problem is twofold. A, people don't understand Overwatch on a complicated level, and B, people in anywhere below, I'd say probably Diamond and below, don't have the skill in a way to really unlock each character's potential. Now, obviously, there are great players in Diamond. I'm not saying that there aren't, but I mean, all you have to do is you have to look at the pro scene, and we're not going to go into specifics right now, but you look at them, they try different things. You're seeing single heal with Sombra. That's insane. You're seeing single tank. That's insane. When you see pro teams like this come up with these different strategies, I mean, you'll even see Torbs. Thank God no pro team is picking Symmetra, because that would just trigger me to no end. But you see them pick Torb. Like, we've seen them in Apex, in I think some World Cup games that have just started. You see them pick Torb, and you're thinking, like, why in the world would you ever pick Torb? That doesn't seem very meta right now in dive comp. Well, he kind of slows down dive comp, you know? So I don't think that dive comp is this end-all, be-all. Okay, we have to take
The god
Tracer,
meta.
Genji. Yeah, we have to take Tracer, Genji, Zen, Lucio, what's it called? Winston, Diva. Like, those aren't. What happens is you just have really good combinations. A Genji Zenyatta combo is insane. Same with the Zenyatta Tracer. Those are just really good. Lucio is just in a fantastic support class. And then the Winston Diva combo of tanks is really good. But you also see triple tank. You know, you also see you'll see the one Sombra. You'll see Sombra taking a DPS slot in a 2-2-2 setup. Like, the thing with dive comp is that it's so reliant on each character bringing the most out of each player bringing the most out of their character, that if you were to try to be like, okay, dive comp's overrated because people in my league can only play Genji Tracer as our DPS and nobody can play a Sombra, or people can only play Winston Diva instead of relying on a really good Winston so we can go triple DPS. Like, because these leagues are so confined, mainly because, you know, pro players play 30 hours of Overwatch in a couple of days. You know, they put in an insane amount of time to learn their characters, and, you know, we play a couple hours a night. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing as triple tank. You know, you have people saying, okay, if we go in with a 2-2-2 Winston Diva, we're gonna do fine. And that's what's meta right now. Same thing was with triple tank. So I think it's a trickle down effect. You know, I think the pro scene is trying to figure out, okay, how do you stop the dive comp? Because dive comp on offense is pretty amazing.
People don't even bother with first point stuff anymore.
Yeah, like you'll see in like after the first round is over, people bring out the Torb or the whatchamacallit, the Sombra, just to try to eat time off the clock. Because that's what those characters do. So you're seeing people, they're trying to figure this out, mainly because dive comp is this weird combination of extremely high individual skill and extremely good teamwork to make the most effective dive comp. Triple tank was, I mean, let's say it was pretty simple. You put your shield in front of a roadhog, you try to get a hook, and you have your soldier there to finish anybody off. And some people took Tracer, some people took Genji. You took another DPS character to try to finish them off. It was fairly simple. I think dive comp leaves such open possibilities that those in the lower ranks, I would say Diamond and Below, haven't quite figured it out yet, though I've seen some pretty good Sombra play in the Diamond
It
leagues.
is starting to pick up a little bit.
I think so. I think it's starting to trickle down. But I mean, and, then you got to factor in like people that are one tricking. If people like, I've seen one trick Winston's and stuff. As much as I love Winston, like I'm just not a fan of people one tricking, even though that's probably one of the better characters you could take. And I mean, looking in the pros, I mean, the meta right now in competitive play is you got to take a Mercy, but the pro scene you hardly ever see.
Unless it's a pharmacy
Mercy
comp, you're not going to see Mercy.
Pharmacy. And even then, like, most teams can figure it out pretty quickly. So I honestly think it's overrated when people say that dive comp is insane. I don't think it's on an equivalent level to triple tank. I don't see it. Triple tank really just revolved around Roadhook, and now that he's gone, here's the other thing. Like, there's not one character that dive comp revolves around. Like, you might have a Zen that's popping off, but if you don't have a Winston D.Va that can protect him, he's going to die. You might have a Genji that's popping off, but if your D.Va can't peel for him, he's going to die. Like, I think the meta is really good right now. Doomfist is going to shake some things up. Not completely, like, insane things, but he's gonna make some differences. And then I think Reinhardt's getting a buff, so I think you're going to see some changes. And who knows, maybe we will reach that point where take a dive comp and then somebody takes the other popular comp and you see which one's better. I don't know, but I think it's kind of overrated when people are. Maybe I'm just a personal dive comp fanboy. I don't know. I love that style of play. That's just me.
Yeah, we had a really good competitive match this week when we actually counter dived. Another team. Like, that was like
Lunar Colony, and when we enter that match, how triggered I get.
Tell them why you don't like Lunar Colony, and then how it ended up working so well with our dive comp.
I don't like point 1 because it's so narrow. Like, it's kind of obsolete if you get high ground, but it kind of isn't. It's like this weird combination, and if you try to push in the front, the defending team can kind of overwhelm you. But if they get into your base, you have to then file in. Sim and Torb are really overpowered on that point. It's a lot different than... I think the closest map it is to is Hanamura Point 1, because Hanamura you have to fight in a little controlled area too, but you have more of an open area of entrance rather than in Lunar Colony where you have to pretty much file into the sides. If you're going through the middle, you can. It's not ideal, but you want to come in through the sides, and the surrounding areas on the sides are just so open, and you'll see teams. If you're looking away from point 1, you're looking towards the attacking team spawn. That right side opening has some good space in there, but the defensive team is usually gonna be there first because that's where they're coming from their spawn.
Right.
So I think it's just bad. But what happened was we rolled through them first point, and then we were defending or first round, and then we were defending second round. And I had taken the Reinhardt because I was like, okay, we can just kind of plug the choke up. Hopefully, I don't know, what was our DPS? Do you remember? I think it was a soldier and something else. Reaper soldier, something like that. I was like, okay, I can peel for the soldier a little bit. We'll see what goes. And then Winston dived me immediately, and I didn't know what to do. I mean, I knew what to do, but it wasn't working because he split us. And as soon as I died, I was like, all right, screw it, I'm going Winston. Because I just knew that I can bounce around a lot more on that point because you're not always fighting on the point.
Right.
My recommendation is to, I say recommendation. I don't even know if that would count because I haven't played it that much because I hate it. But if you kind of have to win the team fight outside, because if you're trying to fight through that little, you're trying to get at least 2 or 3 picks on the outside before you move into the point. Because generally they're going to have a pretty nice defensive setup, just because it's just defender bias. Unfortunately, 2CP is just kind of that way. But it worked because I think we did. Did we lose that point and then we had to defend point B? Or did we win?
No, we won it. We held them there.
Yeah, it was just it came down to the Reaper was on somebody. I just followed the Reaper. And were you on D.Va?
I was on D.Va. Remember, we kept chasing the Sombra off her own little health pack.
Yeah, she stayed on one. I think the map's just kind of bad for Sombra in general, just because the health packs aren't really in good places. But we kind of just followed her and just kept killing her, and so we counter her. She ended up switching, I think, and
She
that
switched to
just
Widow and just kind of triggered. Because
yeah.
every time she would hack the health pack on our left hand side, you and I would run in there and just bully her away from it.
Yeah, it didn't work. Yeah, you made a great play where you booped her out of the way, and it was great. And it was just like that's the kind of thing where like people get mad at dive comp, but if it's just kind of one of those maps where you would automatically think, okay, you need to turtle up, but we didn't have a Torb, we didn't have a Sim. I think we had a Mercy, and that was it.
Yeah, even then he ended up switching back to
She.
Lucio.
Oh,
Sorry.
she didn't switch. She
I
stayed on
thought-
Mercy.
Okay, whatever.
No, when we were attacking, she was on Lucio. She was an actual, good player,
That's right.
other than just one tricking Mercy. Anyways, I digress. Shout out to you, Mercy Lucio player.
You were great. We had fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I know you're gonna watch this, so.
We told her.
Yeah, we told her to. But anyways, it was good because even though the point is so turtly, you can still, with the high movement abilities of Divecom, you can still play that if nobody can play like a significant Torb or Sim, or if they're playing a certain way that might counter that. I don't know why people are taking Widow on that first point. I guess it has some open abilities, but anyways, I digress. But it was just it was a good game, and I just really like Divecom, and I think the meta is in a good place right now. Yes, it can change up. Yes, I'd be fine with that, but I think right now it's fine. I think people's criticisms and people freaking out about it's a little overrated.
Agreed.
Cool.
All right.
What next?
So we should probably just talk about the biggest news that dropped ever this week.
Yeah.
Doomfist is live on the PTR.
It just came out of nowhere.
Just came out of nowhere. No hints, no nothing. He
Yeah.
is out and rocking it. He is an awesome character. We will do his. We'll probably do his character analysis probably sometime in August.
Yeah.
As we finish up defense.
Yeah.
We'll probably wait
As
till
soon as
he's
he-
live anyway.
Yeah,
And the
definitely.
changes and
We can
whatnot.
just speculate now. That's about it.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. You and I can. I mean, we can speculate during this podcast.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I'll go first then. I think Doomfist is going to come in, and if Roadhog was the tank that punished you for being out of position, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Doomfist is the DPS that does the same thing.
Right.
I think that Doomfist should have came out before Orisa
Okay.
because I think that if Roadhog was still in the position that he was, they never would have changed Doomfist to like
Roadhog was in the position that he was.
used to be. So
That he used to
the
be.
one-shot hook.
Okay.
I think they originally built Doomfist to help counter Roadhog. And now, originally, now they kind of realized, oh shit, we nerfed Roadhog, we need to change up Doomfist. So I think that's why they're going ahead with the changes for Doomfist, but I think he's taking Roadhog's place as the positioning killer. So,
Okay.
the reason, what I'm saying is like a Genji or a Tracer dives a little too far into the back line. All Doomfist, especially you watch those videos, a pro person plays Doomfist, annihilates people. It's because the people he's playing against don't realize that all he has to do is turn around, charge up his right click, and they're dead. Because if it hits a wall, you're dead. So
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be interesting when he comes out because it's going to change a lot of things.
Okay.
But I think Dive Comp is still the God King of all.
Yeah, I don't think he ruins Dive Comp.
No, I think
I
he
don't
just
see
adds
that
to it.
happening. Yeah.
He might even
I mean-
take place of some people.
Yeah, he's getting a slight nerf to his movement. There was an original bug where if you uppercut and then smashed your E ability, which is kind of like jump and hit people, which pops them up in the air, you could get some vertical mobility with that.
Nice.
That E ability isn't supposed to be vertical at all, so he could get to places that like only like a Genji or Hanzo or like Solberg could get to.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so they're nerfing him a little bit so that he can't get that extra vertical mobility, which I think is fine. But the thing with I was watching some pros play Doomfist, and they were trying to test out his ability. And they came to the conclusion that he is that one-shot kill, and it does require team play to kind of set him up, which is why he's a very high-skill player. But they said that you pretty much have to be all in on him because you need to uppercut so you can get a better look of the field, isolate your target, whether by your tanks initiating or what, or if them just being out of position, and then E down on them to get them in your way, and then hit them into the wall.
Right.
So I think that what they said is they don't, because they saw some people using his abilities to get out of a sticky situation, and they said you're using him completely wrong because his cooldowns are fairly. I mean, they're not super long, but they're long enough to where somebody can burst him down pretty quickly when everything's down. So I do think that if you are going to take a Doomfist, he needs to work well together as a team, and what comp is already kind of requiring people to work together as a tem.
Already
dive comp. Yeah. So you can make the argument that you could take out I wouldn't want to take out the D.Va and make him that third DPS because a D.Va can really peel for him very well. But the interesting thing is if they have an enemy D.Va that's just kind of just stopping you guys from they're stopping your soldier from ulting, or they're stopping your they're eating your tracer bomb, or they're protecting their soldier. Like Doomfist kind of wrecks D.Va a little bit, mainly because he can punch straight through that shield, and she's usually flying to get to somebody, not to get away from somebody. Right. So if she's in the middle brawling and trying to protect people, he just comes, punches. Now the defense matrix is down for a few seconds, and you guys can ult or burst her down. So I think the thing with Doomfist is that he's going to help and hurt the dive comp at the same time. I don't think you're going to see. You might with the new Reinhardt buffs, you might actually see him a little bit with Doomfist. The only thing is Doomfist. I'm trying to think, because you used to just put up the shield and let your hog would either flank and get a pick, or he would stay behind your shield and punish them for bad positioning or bad team play. But with Doomfist, it's not. I don't know if you're going to want him sitting behind a Rein shield. I think you want him diving in with the team. So I don't know if the Reinhardt Doomfist combo would work that well. I don't know. What do you think?
No.
Yeah.
He's still extremely mobile, so I'm gonna go ahead and say 54 on that. I don't think it's.
Zarya will work well with Doomfist.
Yeah, with his ultimate, but
Zarya. Her ultimate and her bubble can kind of help him.
It's just that Zarya isn't in a good place.
Zarya's isn't that good right now. Yeah.
So I don't see the point.
Yeah, you'd probably rather take. I mean, other than her ultimate's the best part of her kit, but I'd usually probably rather have a D.Va, have our Doomfist run in, try to get a quick pick, get the kill, and then matrix him out, and then have our Winston bubble or get us out. So I don't know. I think Doomfist is one of those characters that, I mean, you can only do so much with the PTR, but I think after all the buffs and nerfs come through, and after we see him in competitive play, I mean, it's going to be kind of a shit show, because I know everybody's going to want to play him. Maybe not. I don't know. But
I think people are starting to learn a little bit. That's not a good idea to pick him up right away. I hate that they release him mid-season, but they got to do what they got to do.
Yeah, the most random release I've ever seen. There's no hints or anything. Like, people were saying Hammond. I mean, I said that Hammond isn't going to be the next one, but I said Doomfist isn't going to be either. So I was wrong and right. It was that was a weird day, because I was watching a streamer, and he's like somebody started spamming in their chat, Doomfist is live, and he thought they were trolling him, and he's like, you guys are stupid, what are you talking about? And then he's like, fine, I'll check it, and then Doomfist is live, and he freaks out, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta play. But I think it'll be interesting. I think maybe it's getting to that point where we are going to see different kinds of play styles. You might still see, D.Va Winston, but instead of, okay, we're going to split their team and focus down a couple people, might be we're going to distract them while we set up a one-shot kill and then frag out from there. So similar styles, but different enough to where people's personal styles can kind of come through, I guess you could say.
Right. We have to see how his nerfs go through.
Yeah.
And then we'll see from there what happens exactly.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about Doomfist is we should really let the pros sort him out, and then we can
let's see what the pros say. Yeah.
analyze it afterwards. So
yeah, definitely.
All right. Next on our list, why do you even play competitive anymore?
Why do you even play
competitive anymore? Because this is starting to get a little ridiculous with people in this game, and I don't understand it. But then again, I'm not. You and I, unfortunately, are wired the same way, so we don't understand why people come into competitive matches and troll, or just get so upset and just start tilting instantly, if things don't go their way immediately. And we've seen a lot of YouTubers talking about it too. Why play competitive? What's the point? Is the golden gun really worth it?
Yeah.
I
mean, nobody. They're if you're good enough to be a pro player or not. So taking those people out of the context, why would anybody that's not trying to be a pro player do that? And I guess you can take out the really big streamers as well because they do it for their fan base. But for those of us that come home after an 8-hour day and we're tired.
Yes. Tell us more, Lax. For those of you that don't know, Lax lives at home.
Hey, for the
summer.
And then I'll be back on the daily grind, working, 4 days a week. Anyways, but for those of the players that, they come home from a long day of school or a long day of work, or they just want to, get away for a couple hours and turn their brain off, why play competitive? What's in it for you? Yeah, there's the golden gun. That's the only competitive exclusive reward. Obviously, you gain more XP than quick play, but that's kind of pointless. It's really that golden gun that's the exclusive. So you got to be okay, that many people can't be just playing for some cosmetic item. And like we've always said, it's because you get the thrill of playing at the highest level. I absolutely love it when all 6 people are talking about what kind of comp we want to build, and then we barely squeak by because we made some great plays. That's an amazing feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way to lose in competitive Overwatch is doing that same thing, and then the enemy team just makes a couple plays and they barely squeak by. Then you're like, oh, damn, we were so close.
Yes.
And that's a good way to lose. Obviously, if you get rolled, you can look at your team and be like, hey, they were so much better than us. Let's take it on the chin and move on. Doesn't feel good. But the moment you start influencing, oh, you guys suck. Oh, our healers aren't healing. Oh, our tanks aren't doing it. It's you ruin it for me. And I don't see what you get out of it because there's nothing else. Getting the win is probably, in a competitive way, is much more satisfying than getting a win in quick play. If I lose in quick play, I could give crap. I'm trying to learn a new character. I'm trying to have fun with Doran. We're dicking around. We're having fun. But the type of fun that you have in competitive is much different. You want the win. People say, "Oh, I don't care about winning. I just want to play." It's why are you playing competitive then? Because competitive implies that there's actually going to be some satisfaction in getting a win. So when you have a bunch of, I don't know if it's, there's no requirement other than getting level 25 to enter into competitive. If there was this is stupid, but if there was a test to be do you actually care about winning? Do you actually care about, gaining rank and improving your skills, improving your teamwork? Then maybe, but I think that's kind of just stupid to test for that in general. But it's things like that where people aren't willing to play for the win. And, we've talked about one tricking before and why that's a problem. But, if you have one trick and 5 people that are flexible, then you'll be fine. Us 5 are going to enjoy playing as a team, and we're going to try to play with this flex or this one trick. But if you're that douchey Symmetra main that says, I only play Sim, you have to build around me, I'm going to lose my mind.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, if he had just been like, hey, trust me, we're playing Symmetra on King of the Hill doesn't work. I'm just going to say it. It doesn't work. But he was determined to be Symmetra. I said, I got mad at him. But if he had gotten on and said, hey, I'm a Symmetra main, I play a lot of Symmetra, I know what I'm doing, trust me, I can play really well here, I would have been like, I disagree with you picking Symmetra on King of the Hill, but I'm willing to work with you because you have the confidence in your character.
Yes.
But no. What does he say? He says, I'm a Symmetra main, you have to play around me. It's like it's like he watched a video of some YouTuber say, there are mains out there, sometimes you just gotta play around them. And that told something in his brain that made him go, right, if I just main something, people have to build around me. Now imagine the guy's like 12 years old. Anyways, but I digress. It's people like that, and it's like why run into this? Why run into this problem? And we're in gold or high gold, platinum range, and that's when the most players are, especially in gold. So I don't know. I mean, you even see these problems in Masters and GM. You see people that get triggered and pick Torb on King of the Hill, and it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't understand. First of all, you have to grind to get the Masters and GM. It doesn't happen overnight. So I don't understand how you can be like, oh, I achieved this great rank. I'm going to let one dude on the internet that I'm never going to see again make me want to throw this game. And it goes back to there's no serious repercussions of, intentionally throwing a game. And obviously they're trying to deal with that with the bannings and whatnot. But that's just a problem in gaming in general. But I don't know, man. Competitive's fun, and we like to stream it. And I still get the satisfaction. It's like I get three losses in a row, and I'm thinking, okay, is it even worth it? And then I get one good win. I'm like, okay, it might be. And then I get 3 more losses, and it's like, it's just that back and forth. I don't know. Here's an idea. I listened to a pro talk about his idea to maybe fix competitive.
Who was the pro?
It was Jake.
Okay.
God, who does he play for? Renegades?
Yes.
Immortals? Renegades?
Renegades.
Okay.
Is Jake.
Yeah, something like that. He's a DP. He's DP. No, he's Flex.
He's the Flex.
No, he's DPS. I don't know. It doesn't matter. He said, based on his playing because he plays competitive as well, just to keep his skills up when he's not playing with his team. And he said the way you fix competitive is you get rid of the SR and you go to a single player ranking and a group ranking. So if you were to
doesn't World of Warcraft have that system?
I think so. I didn't play a lot of PvP and WoW as a PvE guy, but I think I remember seeing like when people would queue up with their friends in PvP, they would have a rating based on their team.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why they don't do that here, because I mean it's simple. Let's say I have an amazing skill rating of 4,500, right? That means I'm really good, right? And I get paired with somebody that's 4,200, who is, you would say, less skilled than me, right? But if I get paired with him in a match and he intentionally throws, doesn't matter how good I did, I'm losing some of my skill rating.
Yep, that's the thing too.
That doesn't make any sense. If you're saying that the skill rating in the game is a reflection of how good you are of a player, why am I losing ranking based on what my teammates do? Now, obviously, if everybody is playing, all 6 players are playing at the best of their potential, and they lose to another team, maybe you weren't as skilled as you were supposed to be. That's why you drop your ranking, right? That's how it's supposed to work. But that doesn't happen. So, a lot of people are proposing, okay, if you're going in as a solo queuer, then the way the SR system now is, it compares what you did in the game to everybody else, and that's how much you lose or gain. That makes sense for a single player, right?
Right.
But when I'm queuing with Doran, I'm going to pick a tank because I know Doran can play tank or support or DPS. He's a very flexible player. So if I can play tank or support, sometimes I play support, but I'm usually playing tank. If I can play a good D.Va and I can protect him when he goes soldier, that's us working together to get a win. Doesn't matter if I'm a great D.Va or not. I'm doing the job in order to get him to do his job, right? So that means us as a team are good. And if we fail, it's partially because our individual skill rating, but also because of our other teammates and us working together. So that's why our team ranking should drop.
But
It just
not our
doesn't make a
individual skill.
exactly. So like if I'm ranked, hopefully one day 2,500, that would be nice. And Doran's at 25, 2,600, right? So we're gonna go in with 2,550 as our whatchamacallit ranking, our team ranking or whatever. However you want to do it. If we fail as a team, our team ranking is gonna go down, but I can still solo queue with other 2,500 people. Why? Because my skill ranking didn't go down. I played a character in order to help the team.
Yep.
So it just doesn't make a lot of sense, I guess. And it's weird because they do, I think, something like that in WoW. So I don't know why they do. I think they think it's just a different game. It just sucks. And I mean, there's a lot of people that have said stuff like this. A lot of pro players. I mean, pro players don't even really play much competitive. If they stream, because sometimes they need a stream to supplement their income, they'll do competitive there just because it's fun to watch a pro player play against a bunch of random people. But yeah. But I mean, pro players just scrim now, and that's something I've been wanting to get into. Is just trying to find people on like a Discord server to scrim against. That seems like a lot more fun because it's obviously you're not getting rewarded with the actual competitive points or the your skill ranking go up, but you actually get that feeling of you worked as a team. Because nobody's gonna jump into a scrim and auto lock Hanzo and not switch off. That doesn't make any sense. They're gonna kick you, So I don't know. Will I play competitive? Yes. Will I play it for much longer? It depends on what they do, I guess. I like playing it now just because I love the meta right now, but that's just my personal opinion.
Exactly.
If we were still in triple tank, I probably wouldn't be playing competitive, to be honest.
No, you'd be done.
I'd be so annoyed playing Reinhardt and just holding right click the whole time. Look at me, I'm doing my job.
I'm doing the Lord's work right here, right now. Holding the choke. But yeah.
Oh well. Anyways,
so
got a little ranty there, but
that's okay. It's supposed to. We're supposed to rant at one point. Here we go. Back to it. Okay, go ahead.
No. This is just a quick tidbit to say some positive about Blizzard. I do think they're listening. I do think from what we've seen in the past, they do listen to what we have to say. Especially, as much as people love or hate Jeff, I'm kind of on the positive side. He does listen, and I do think he does actually care about what people are playing. Whether or not he'll implement something like this, I don't know, but I am hopeful. If it was a different company, if it was a different staff, I might be a little bit concerned, but Blizzard seems to be the company that actually does care about their players. I mean, hell, they're taking such a strong stance against people trolling that I think it actually... I think we're in for a good ride with them.
This is something that kind of hit me the other night as I was contemplating, while I was on the toilet.
The vast wonders of Overwatch.
Do you think that the reason they're taking such a firm stance is because how successful the game is, and they don't necessarily need the money?
Because think about it. Hold on. How does a game like this? How do you make enough money off a game like this for a long amount of time? Obviously, they've made a crap ton. Yeah, loot boxes. But you can only get people to open loot boxes if people are playing the game, right? So there's no subscription, right? It's not WoW. There's no subscription. So that means they made a shit ton of money when it launched. And then as they added new things, more people came and they continue that money. But, in a couple of years, it might not be as big, right? That's why they're trying to push esports. That's why I think, like you said, they're trying to listen to people because they understand that if they want to keep making money, not necessarily, gross amounts of profit for Jeff that they call them, but enough to pay their workers and enough to, give them nice, bonuses and stuff like that. So I think you're right on the target there that they do want to listen because they want to keep making money rather than just take the money we've made from this and invest it somewhere.
Agreed. Because it just seems like other games that aren't as successful or have a smaller fan base tend to kind of like let the trolls go because they need the money, because sometimes those trolls do also buy things. So, but since Blizzard is so big and hard to take down, that they're just gonna fire away at the bans. So yeah I think throw that out there.
I mean, they're trying to make it into an esports game. WoW was never a true esport. I guess it kind of is.
It was never a PvP game.
Yeah, I mean, it had a PvP element, and other than BlizzCon, there wasn't really a big tournament.
Right.
StarCraft was huge. We know that.
Right, but
Um,
again, that game was geared to be an esport game.
yeah, and it was primarily what was it, like 1v1 and like 2v2, and that was
Yeah,
pretty
one
much
v
it.
one was what it was supposed to be, but yeah, there was two v
Yeah,
twos and whatnot.
yeah, but it wasn't over. It wasn't CS:GO. It's not League.
Hmm.
This is, I think that because they're trying to make this one of the biggest esports, and I think it has the potential to really be. The more they add characters and the more they get pro players, the World Cup contenders, the Overwatch League. I see a company that's investing in this so heavily
Yep.
that means they actually care about the game, and that means they actually care about their fan base, people to watch it. So I think they do legitimately care, and I do think they're gonna try to do something because people are complaining every day about the SR system, especially now. So I think we're in for a good ride ahead for a while. I think, hopefully,
Hopefully.
yeah,
So, speaking of World Cup,
yes,
let's talk about it. The group stages are underway.
hmm
This is not like in a. It is in tournament style, right? They are actually physically in Shanghai right now.
I think so. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, the Shanghai is going on right now. Yeah,
So I've already had a couple
um,
matches underway. We had Romania
in
versus
China.
China, and the
hmm
one other watch I was France versus Argentina.
hmm
Which one do you want to talk about first?
I did not watch those two. I watched the other two, so
Oh, the
it's
ones in
it's
the
up to you.
afternoon. I watched the ones in the morning before work. Looks like
Okay.
Lax here watched the ones in the afternoon when he woke up.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Pretty much.
Am I right? Because I'm up
Yeah.
at 6:30 in the morning, so I
Yeah, it
got to
must be
watch the
nice.
first round. First and
That's when I
foremost,
go to bed.
yeah, that's when he goes to bed. First and foremost, I want to give for all maybe one of them. I think we have one person in China that does watch our channel.
Oh yeah.
To that person, hi, and also
Thank you.
thank you. Your fans in Shanghai are awesome. Not just
Yeah.
that they are supporting China and Chinese Taipei, but they like supporting their other teams. Like there was a bunch of them that like had on like Rogue T-shirts and
Really?
stuff like that. Yeah, well, if you wake up early enough, maybe you should watch it.
Okay.
Um, so they had on like Rogue T-shirts, and it's an interesting thing. I thought this was really cool. They don't make posters for their teams anymore, since they have
Okay.
more than one team that they like. They will
Uh.
bring an iPad. They will
Oh God.
draw on the iPad
What?
their team name and like a little picture or whatnot, and then they will hold that up. And then when the other team is playing, they will hold that up.
That's
Like,
amazing.
yeah, it was awesome. It was so funny to see that, and I'm like, yeah, because you're cheering for China, but let's say your favorite player plays for Romania,
Oh
DDX, my
man.
boy, you
Yeah.
know. So, I would be like, yeah, go China, because I really like the Chinese team. They're very interesting to watch. But then it's like DDX is awesome, and I want to be like, go DDX. So I don't know, I don't remember who DDX plays for, but I'll be having my iPad
Argentina.
no, I meant like his pro team.
Oh. Okay.
So, you know, things like that. So I just thought it was really cool. They have like these little chants when China was starting to win, and like
Mhm.
as the game got underway, they were doing like this little clap thing and whatnot. And I was like, God, they're all so
Mhm.
coordinated. So yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's all I'm saying. It was great. It was cool to watch. I'll talk about the games real quick. France rolled Argentina. And this is actually something we were going to debate, but then Lex and I ended up agreeing on it. For those of you, if this is your first World Cup, I know there's only been two. This one was done much better on Blizzard's side. They arranged for committees from each country to pick the teams instead
Mhm.
of we just vote for the top six and, yay, popularity vote.
Mhm.
So there's a professional team out there called Rogue.
Mhm.
Rogue were at one point considered the masters of dive comp,
Yeah.
but now, well, they're the ones who really brought it into play, I should say. They
Mhm.
were the ones who were like outside of South Korea were the ones who really used it a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Anywho, all of Rogue's roster is French. The French national team is Rogue, and Rogue is the French national team. It is very interesting to watch them because they are so coordinated.
Yep.
Because they already all play their entire roster. All 6 players are French. Everybody knows Soon, one of the best tracers in the world, but the rest of his pro team is also on his team for the Olympics, for the World Cup. So,
Right.
Quick shout out to them. Well done against Argentina this morning, I should say.
That's a 4-0. Oh, hold on.
4-0. What?
Let's explain, because people might be a little confused how they're doing the group stage. They don't play like a best of 5. They play 4 maps. They don't play, you try to win 3 out of 5 or anything. Not 2 out of 3. It's you play 4, you get, either
points.
The win from it. Yeah, you get points. Yeah. You either, you get 4 wins, X losses, or whatever. 4-0, 3-1, 2-2, 1-3, whatever. And then at the end, those who have the most maps won or wins, how they ever want to do tiebreakers, those 2 go on to the next stage, which is then a tournament style.
Correct.
Where you will be knocking people off. So you very well could see a lot of like 2-2s. You already saw it with Denmark and Thailand. So just so people, if they're kind of confused, why'd they win 4-0? They play best of 7? No, they play 4 maps and that's it.
Yeah, this is just to get some points, just to start, getting ready for the actual tournament, so to speak, that will happen. So, it's very cool to watch it because there can be ties. But then again, It doesn't really matter if they tie or not. Each team got 2 points. So just keep that in mind. It's not win or lose. It's how many points can you acquire each game.
Yep.
So anyway, let's talk real quick. France versus Argentina. Great game on Argentina's side because they were not very good last year. They have massively improved. DDX was a great addition to them. His Sombra play was on point. He is awesome. I wish them well in the actual physical tournament. They have a rough road ahead of them. I know they have one of the harder schedules depending on how well they do. So, hope they do well. France, I expected nothing less. Rogue is a top-tier team. Yeah. So they 4-0'd Argentina, but kudos to Argentina for showing up and giving them a run. There was a couple times they went 99-99 on control points.
Right.
So good job to them.
Nice.
Let's talk about the other match that happened. China versus Romania.
Okay.
The Chinese rolled the Romanians.
China's ranked 1.
And what did I say? 2-3 podcasts ago. What did I say? The Chinese might very well be better than South Korea. What people didn't know is their SR ranking is way higher than everybody else's. Granted, they have less people playing, but their skew is so much higher than everyone else's. I firmly believe they might win it all this year. They are very skilled, and you can see that again when they played against Romania. Romania, bless them. Bless the Romanians. They are not great. That was not a fair match.
They're ranked 32. They're not, they're not supposed to be.
Yeah, they were
not supposed to be that competitive,
No, they were not. But the Chinese just came in and showed them how to, I guess, this is probably a big learning thing for Romania. I don't even know if Romania has an actual any pro players. Do you know?
I do not know.
I don't think they have any pro players.
They have their roster. Rank, Nomajov, Flex Office.
I don't know any of those guys.
I don't recognize any of them, no.
So they just kind of, I guess they got an awakening, so to speak. They were woken. Because China just appeared and then just... China, I like how they play. They move as a group. The dive comp moves as a group. The only time they split off is when their tracer player, and his name is like escaping me right now. I think it's Undead or something. Or Undeader, I don't know. He's weird. Is so good that he'll brawl with the team, but then as soon as he sees the Zenyatta or the Lucio move out of the way of something, he rushes it by himself and just sniped them. They would pick off Romania's defense, or pick off their support so quickly, and then they would just crumble. It was a very quick 4 matches. They 4-0'd them. So I hope Romania takes this more as a learning curve and not like beating themselves up over anything, Like, don't count themselves out. Like, you guys still made it to the World Cup. So, wishing you well, but I don't expect them to go far. So
Right,
those are the
right.
two matches that I watched this morning. So you can take it away
Okay.
from here.
Yeah, the Norway versus Hong Kong match, Norway won 3-1.
Expected
They're
to.
ranked, yeah, they're ranked 16, 17, so they were close, but like Norway was kind of favored. Hong Kong was technically ranked a little bit higher. But um it was a good match. Definitely got really close. Props to Hong Kong. They played really well. They played really well as a team, I thought. Um I'd suggest going and watching that just because there are a couple of really close maps. Um, Nobody really stood out for me that much in Norway or Hong Kong. I think they're a good team. I don't know how far they'll go. No,
Mhm.
they have China in their bracket, so that'll be interesting. But either one of them can come out because it's the top two teams I think come out from each group. So either one of them really could come out. I think they can easily beat Romania. So either one of them could really. It's going to come down to if one of them can score a point against China at all. If they
Mhm.
can, then that team might be able to go on. If not, they might have to go to tiebreakers or something. Um, so those two are really close, and that's an interesting little group right there. And the next game was Thailand versus Denmark, which I thought was a really good game because they ended up going 2-2. Thailand or Denmark won the first two. Thailand came back and won the next two. For those of you that like watching the pro scene, I suggest watching Thailand defend both points on Lunar Colony because I think they're kind of figuring out how to play that map. They counter dived and they did not use a Sombra. No, they did. They did. And it was interesting because it was weird. They had everybody really kind of spread out on defense. They had their soldier was on that top portion of the main point there. Winston was kind of on the point, ready to dive wherever it needed there. Anna was in that top left like staircase. They were really spread out. And I think what they were doing is because as the attacking team, you can kind of come from different directions. So
Right.
I think they were kind of trying to see if how the attacking team was going to come because these teams aren't pro teams. They're groups of pro players that are playing for their nation. So this is the first time you're seeing these guys play against you. So you're trying to see, okay, do they want to try to take the high ground? Are they trying to take the high ground on the right side? Are they trying to go bottom? Are they trying to come through the middle maybe? So I think by staying spread out and having a Winston staying in the center is kind of a very interesting way to play. But they ended up drawing, so it was 2-2. I think it was a really good match. You saw some great offensive plays from the Denmark guys. Craggy and NZNR. Craggy plays for Denmark, and NZNR is the tracer player for Thailand. Those two DPS going at each other was very interesting. They actually fought in the zero gravity portion, which was really funny. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. You saw some Reinhardt action from Denmark too, so they kind of believe in him. They actually played triple tank on one of the maps.
Nice.
Zarya, Diva, Rhine with a Bastion. It was kind of a El Presidente comp on a I think, oh gosh, what map was it? Was it El Dorado? I don't know, but no, it was Route 66. Where they played Presidente comp, and it kind of worked. Not really, but oh well. But it was cool to see, and it's interesting to see because these guys they're not the top tier they're the best of their country, but that other than Mickey, there's not really a well-known player on either of these teams. Mickey plays for Envia's very good player.
Mhm.
If you want to watch, probably I think he's probably one of the best divas in the game. So if you want to watch really good diva play, then check out Mickey for Thailand and Envious. But overall, it's a really good game. Like I always say, if you want to watch um, really good professional, even though it's technically not professional, but kind of is. Professional Overwatch. Watch Thailand versus Denmark. That's the game that really stood out to me. It's interesting because Denmark was ranked 9 and Thailand was ranked 24, and Thailand put up a really good fight in those last 2 points. So, yeah. So check those out. If you check out all of the World Cup, you're going to see some really good Overwatch there. I think you're going to see some new things too because people are. It's not for a pay. I don't. Do they get paid?
Yeah, of course. There's a huge prize pool for this.
There is. Okay, so yeah, so it is pretty competitive, but it's different kinds of players that might be wanting to try new things in the meta. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
Absolutely. It's interesting to watch. There was plenty of it going on over the next couple days. Make sure you guys all tune into it.
Hmm.
There's a lot of hype around it this year. I think the prize pool is in the tens of millions.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, it's high up there. And also not
Jeez.
just that, also country bragging rights, kind of like the
Yeah,
Olympics as
obviously.
well, for our
Obviously.
very small community. So
Oh yeah.
I'm excited. We got more of the group over the weekend, and then we have to when we go 2 weeks while everybody gets ready for the actual physical tournament.
Hmm.
So it's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, that's it for me.
I think that about cover it for me for this week. So all right, guys, that'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching and listening in to this week's podcast. You can find all of our information down below. Follow us on Twitter, especially. Lax is supposed to be working on that and getting better at tweeting random things out about the game.
I got this.
Yeah. So again, thanks for watching. Make sure you give us a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you haven't. Have a good night, guys.